Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Magento 1 versus Magento 2, and amid the latest news that Magento have actually released the end of life date for Magento 1. So that's good news, and hopefully, like I say, if you're running an e-commerce business that is based on Magento, ultimately the good news is you have no reason to panic. So with that said, let's dig straight into the details here. We are live, by the way. If anyone wants to get involved, there should be a chat box over on the right hand side of your screen. Apologies if the connection's a little bit ropey. My internet isn't as good as it used to be, put it that way. So yeah, we will see how that hangs on out. But yeah, right. Morning, Haz. Thank you for joining, mate. Hope you are well. What's happened to our weather, mate? It's absolutely terrible here in Manchester. I know you're over a little bit west, east even, but yeah, not a good sunny morning here in Manchester. So I first spoke about Magento 2 on this channel. I literally just looked then, back in January 2017. So maybe about 18 months ago. And that was the first time when I think it was maybe about four months after Magento 2 first became released. They first put it out into the wild. They released it in like October, November 2016 or 2015. I can't remember. But yeah, 2016 would sound about right. And they released it in October, November, which was, in my mind, the worst possible time for any software company to release a major update to their software, because everybody at some degree gets shiny apple syndrome, as I call it, where they release a slightly newer model of a thing that does exactly the same, and everybody rushes out to go and buy it and finds out it's full of bugs and therefore doesn't work as well as the old one. And that was a big problem for me. So Magento 2 got released, maybe I would say prematurely, and I then spent the best part of the next 18 months trying to tell every business owner that I had any contact with to not upgrade to Magento 2. It simply wasn't ready. And Magento 1 was the much more stable, in most cases faster platform, had much wider variety of extensions and plugins and themes. For me, it just didn't make sense. But because obviously, can you imagine trying to explain to someone that, yeah, no, the Apple, you should definitely keep the Apple 7, iPhone 7, don't buy the iPhone 8. So they'd think you were mental. So I had a bit of a tough job on my hands. And onto the topic is, when Magento 2 got released, it put a lot of questions over Magento 1. When would they stop supporting Magento 1? Would they force a migration to Magento 2? That's clearly the platform that they are now invested in most. That's where they want a lot of their users to go to for a number of different reasons, which I'm not going to get involved in, but most of them seem to be monetary. And yes, a lot has happened. So when Magento 2 first got released, a tentative, I think it was on a slide deck at a Magento Live, a tentative stake in the ground was set that end of life would occur in November 2018 for Magento 1. Don't panic, I'll get to it in a minute. And that was still when it was like 2 years, 18 months away. And obviously now we're rolling up to November 2018. Now, a couple of weeks ago, some quite big excuse me, online news channels started sort of bringing this back up, saying that Magento 1 end of life, as the EOL, was happening November 2018. And that bothered me because I knew that wasn't true, because after they'd initially said November 2018, they had revised that and actually stated, we don't have an end of life or ending security updates thing in place yet, but when we do, we'll give you at least an 18-month notice period. we never had that notice period. And even Mark Lavelle, who's the CEO of Magento, publicly tweeted, and you can go and find it, it's on his Twitter somewhere, that was the case, that Magento 1 would not be ending life in November 2018, but instead you would be getting an 18-month notice period from any given point. And we'd never had that notice period. So it seems strange to me why these large and usually very reputable e-commerce news websites would be putting such rumors and old news out there. It seems sort of irresponsible and sort of fear-mongering. Didn't really like it. So I, myself and Richard over at eCell Cafe, we put out our sort of rebuttal about that, saying, actually, this is the latest information that we have. And since all that happened in the last 2 weeks, I'm guessing it got Magento's attention, because they have now come out and firmly said that Magento 1 support, security updates and everything will continue until at least June 2020. So June 2020, where is that from now? Well, that is, to be fair, about 18 months away. And what does that mean for you with your e-commerce business? So I have, for the past 10 years-ish, give or take a few months, my whole sort of focus within e-commerce has been to advise you on what I would do. If I give you my honest advice, my honest opinion, and basically what I would do in a position, I don't think I can go wrong. So what would I do? Well, on this news, I would still, firstly, if I was selling products online, I would 100% be using Magento 1 as a platform to do that. A number of reasons include, firstly, it's open source, incredibly flexible. I can build it to do what I want it to do, or if I can't, but I can get a developer to build it for me. I can access all the code. It's very important. Number two, it's what we classed as the third generation of multi-channel software, as in you don't buy like an off-the-shelf software package which does a load of shit which you don't need it to do, but instead you can customize it to do exactly what you need it to do and nothing else. That's kind of important. Three is the integrations with eBay and Amazon. Now, if you are selling on online, if you're selling products and you're not selling on eBay and Amazon, you are leaving a lot of money on the table, especially Amazon right now. Amazon is just blowing up incredible. And if you are not putting your products on the world's biggest product search engine, Amazon, you're missing out on a huge amount of customers. So with that in mind, Magento 1 would be my choice. Magento 2 is certainly better than where it was when it was released, and now we have, you know, the extensions in place that will enable the multi-channel part to happen. But still, there's quite a lot of extensions missing, which in Magento 1 you still have. Things like Magme, for example, which are incredibly powerful when it comes to importing a lot of data. Things like the extensions from Magento. I know those guys are working on Magento 2 versions, but Magento 1, it just works. And the reason why they don't have this, these extensions haven't been so quick to roll out, is because Magento 2 is a completely different build to Magento 1, like almost from the ground up. The database structure and everything is different, which then brings into question the migration path, which is a whole other question, a whole other topic. But what would I do? My advice to you right now is if you are selling online, using Magento 1.5 to 1.9, whichever one you may be on, stay there. What this means, what this new news from Magento actually means, is you now have 2 Christmas periods. I'm saying Christmas because they are most likely going to be your busiest time of year. Black Friday, Christmas, January sales. They are most likely going to be your busiest time of year. It makes perfect sense for you to stay with Magento 1. They're not going to kick you off it. Chances are, if you've been using Magento for a while, you have a stable platform. It works. Yes, it might not be perfect. Yes, there may be a few niggles here and there, but largely you know how it works and you've put processes in place around that software. One of the most disruptive things, if not the most disruptive thing that you can do to an e-commerce business is change their fundamental software, their multi-channel software. So if you're using Magento as a website, not too bad. You could keep that running, build a Magento 2 version, then do a domain swap, happy days. If, however, you're doing things properly and you've got a multi-channel setup and you're selling onto different marketplaces, you've got different stores set up. So you've got amazon.com, .co.uk, .de, .com.au. That level of complexity within the system it can be very tricky to merge over to another platform and to make sure everything goes smoothly. Now, doing that in September or October or November or December, any of the burrs is a little bit crazy, because all it takes is for one thing to go wrong and all of your listings on the marketplaces could end. And then you basically lose all your search rank, all your search history on the marketplaces, maybe all the not redirects, but you lose all the data, all the pages that you have on your website. Maybe that gets wiped and replaced with blank text. Whatever it might be, mistakes can happen. You can have all the backups in the world, but you cannot reinstate listings on marketplaces. Once they are ended, and that is bad. So my advice to you watching this, if you are selling on Magento and selling multi-channel on Magento 1, is to stay where you are for now. Have a look in February, March, when things tend to quiet down, 2019. Have a look, see what went well in your business over your busiest period. See what didn't do so well. Where were the stress points? Where did things maybe not go as smoothly as they could? And then do some research into alternate softwares. Shopify is probably going to be a downgrade for you if you're used to Magento. There's BigCommerce, Illusion. There's a whole host of things. That Shopware is another one which I keep hearing about recently. Take a look, see what's out there. But bear in mind that you need to have a list of what does Magento do for you, what doesn't it do, which you'd like it to do, and then basically do a direct comparison and find out if any of these softwares you would be better off with. And then, and only then, in February, March, when you have about a 2-3 month period where things go a little bit quiet, unless you're sort of in fashion, then spring, summer can still be kicking off. Put a plan in place. If at that time you do not find anything that is better than Magento 1 for your business, don't move. You've still got another 14, 15 months left of Magento 1. You can get another Christmas out of it. So then keep looking around, keep doing your research, keep seeing what you're doing, maybe set up a Magento 2 subdomain and see how different it is. What can it do that, what can it not do that you need it to do? Can you find a developer to help you make it happen on Magento 2? Bearing in mind that in another 12 months, we'll have another 12 months worth of extensions, plugins, themes that will hopefully enable you to fill some of those gaps. And then guess what? It rolls around again. You get Christmas 2019 out of the way, February, March 2020. Now you sort of have to make a decision with where you're going to go. But bear in mind, it's hard for us to predict the future with where you're going to be at, where these softwares are going to be at. Remember, Magento has just been bought by Adobe. Adobe's a big business with a lot of development power behind it. Magento 2 in 18 months' time could look very, very different to what it currently looks like. It could be the platform beta by a mile. And in which case, upgrading to Magento 2 would be the best thing to do for your business. But that is my advice right now, is what should your e-commerce business do? Firstly, don't panic. Get Christmas out of the way before you even consider changing software. Changing software in any of the burrs, September onwards, is just asking for trouble. It really, and I'm saying this because I've seen it before. I've seen people do it before. They were promised the world. They were promised that this development agency, this Magento agency would, oh, they've done it hundreds of times before and everything will go smoothly. Guess what? It very rarely goes smoothly. Every business is different. Every process is different. And for any agency platform to be able to come in and try and tell you how your business works and to fully understand the full processes, the nitty gritty of your business, it isn't going to happen. So don't play with fire. If your business is working fine, if you are making money, if you're making profit, do not meddle with the core of that business, because that is where you're going to ask for problems. You might get lucky. You might have no issues at all, but I would rather not take that risk. And you're certainly not taking that risk with my advice. I'm telling you to do the complete opposite. Obviously, I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I would do. And I would hell no be even considering changing multi-channel software or any core business software in my business on the run up to the busiest time of the year. So that's my advice. You have, if you're on Magento 1 currently, you have until June 2020 before you even have to make a decision, before you even have to consider moving. That's not entirely true. You probably need until February, March before you have to consider it. But you have until June until you make that jump somewhere. And even then, a lot of things can happen in 18 months. Who knows? So that's my thoughts. That's my take on this. I wanted to share with you my advice. It's something which I've been asked about pretty much every week for the past 2 years. Should I upgrade to Magento 2? Should I upgrade to Magento 2? No, because if it isn't broke, don't fix it. It's as simple as that. So, with that said, enjoy your Friday. Don't worry about Magento 2. Worry about Christmas. Worry about Black Friday. Get your stock in place and do all that sort of stuff. In fact, I'll probably do a video about that, how you can prepare for 2018's busiest sales period and the best practices you can put in place. With that said, enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Have a fucking fantastic time. And I'll catch you, as always, in the next video. I'll see you there. Oh, before I'm out of practice, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Have you got any comments? Have I frozen? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. See me just catch up there. Good. Yes. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Sorry, I look like this today. I want to get something out very quickly this morning because I got a busy day. Anyway, I'm waffling. Goodbye. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Much love.